Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Wealthy Dentist Podcast. I'm your host, Ward Powell. And if you're a dentist looking to crack the code on how to grow your practice and dominate in this space, then stick around. You're in the right place. Every week, we're sitting down with some amazing dentists who are doing incredible things in their businesses. We're talking about everything from how they keep their teams loyal and dedicated to how they stay ahead of the game in this crazy, fast-changing industry. You'll hear about hacks like using virtual assistants to free up your time, strategies to make more sales with less effort, and even mind-blowing stories about patents and inventions that are changing the industry as we know it. And it's not just about growing your practice, it's also about finding out what works from a clinical perspective. Whether you're just starting or you're ready to scale to the next level, there's something here for you. So buckle up, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive in. All right, Vince, it's so good to see you. And thank you for joining us today on the Wealthy Dentist Podcast. And I just want to start off by saying or asking, what was it that got you interested in the field of dentistry?
Problem, Ward. So I've always wanted to be a dentist. My uncle was a dentist, and it's something that I always wanted to do. I didn't want to be a physician. I didn't like the hospital and all that other jazz. I wound up marrying a physician, but I didn't want to do that for a living. I was always good with my hands, and I wanted to do dentistry. I wound up going to Boston University Dental School, but I studied the first year of nutrition. So I got a master's in nutrition at the dental school. And my professor of nutrition, Weldon, he interviewed all the dental students for the dental school. And he said to me, he says, Vinny, he says, I've interviewed thousands of students. I've never seen anybody that wanted to be a dentist more than you.
Wow.
Yeah, that was, he was like my dad. I was 22, he was in his 40s. And he took on a role. He was very nice. He treated me very well.
It's
And
always great.
him and my other professor were my mentors in the dental
Yes.
school.
Yes.
So I was in the dental school way before dental school.
Oh,
I
wow.
worked in the basement. Yeah, we worked in the basement. We did all our laboratory work in the basement of Boston University. It was fun.
That is awesome. So, I mean, like already we know the importance of having mentors around you when you're getting involved with anything for that matter, but to have them at your almost like not necessarily at your beck and call, but it's almost like that it seems, especially when they just take you under their wing and giving you the information that you need to have to be successful.
They helped me. They helped me through my entire career.
Oh, wow.
Both my professors of nutrition. My other professor of nutrition was in Who's Who of the World.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Of the world.
Yeah, and he taught at MIT. He was brilliant. He was brilliant. So I was exposed to all that.
Couldn't get any better than that.
No, sir.
I mean, that's phenomenal. So, tell me a little bit about the misconceptions of what people may have about dentistry and how you like to debunk it.
Yeah, one of the common misconceptions about dentistry, it's that we solely are fixing problems like cavities or toothaches. While these are important aspects, dentistry encompasses much more, including, as you know, preventative care, cosmetic enhancements, and overall health management.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Many people also overlook the connection between oral health and overall well-being. Failing to realize that dental issues the mouth can affect your heart, et cetera. You know, I think most of the public knows that today, but years ago it wasn't common knowledge.
Yes.
And the other misconception is that everything hurts that we do.
Woo! Yes, yes, yes,
And
sir.
you know, honestly, with the technology that we have today, for example, we have I'll get into it later. We have a laser. This laser removes crowns, bridges, and veneers without drilling them off.
Oh, wow.
Okay, let me say that again. Without drilling them off and no anesthesia. It goes through the translucency of the crown or veneer, and it disrupts the cement, and literally the stuff falls off.
Wow.
Crazy. I mean, I only dreamed about that when I was in dental school, and now it's a reality. The other thing is we can actually do fillings without anesthesia.
That's, man, that's remarkable.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, not only is it saving the dentist time, I would think, and the client time, I mean, the dollars I mean, I can't imagine how much money you're saving.
The most important thing that we all forget is we're serving the patient.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I had to remove 20 veneers from a patient with a drill. It's not fun for me, and it's definitely not fun for the patient. And we're talking about minutes as opposed to hours.
Yes.
You know, so it just took everything and made a new reality for dental procedures, which unfortunately most of the public has no clue.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just getting the word out to dentists. This is brand new, relatively new in the field of dentistry. And so to get it out to the dentists is taking time.
Revolutionary.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes, that's awesome. That is awesome. So, what are some of the biggest challenges that you faced in the industry?
You know what's so unusual? I got into this field and I do consulting, and I also partnered with a couple of dental friends of mine, and they've imported some really cool dental equipment, including that laser that I just spoke about.
Mm-hmm.
But the majority of the dentists, which blew me away, are not embracing technology.
Oh.
They are not embracing technology. I'm sure you're familiar with taking an impression in your mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Putting that goop in your mouth.
Yeah. Done that many times.
One of my patients says it tastes like a dead frog.
I never thought like that, but yeah, I can see why that.
I don't know where she got that one from,
Yeah.
but anyway, we've had a scanner which is basically takes photographs of the mouth
Mm-hmm.
and the preparations, so you don't have to do that. It takes like a couple of minutes and you're done.
Mm-hmm.
And only about 20%. I had one of those when I was practicing, and today only about 20% of the dentists are embracing, are using it. They're not using it. They're still doing what I did in 1985.
Wow, wouldn't you think that that's the way they would want to go, is to scan it, because the accuracy, right?
Yeah, it's much more. You're very astute. It's much more accurate than taking an impression. Plus, it saves you a ton of time.
Again.
You scan the mouth, Ward. You press a button, and the scan goes to the lab.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
You're done.
Really?
You're done. 3 or 4 days later, you get the crown back or the bridge, whatever you ordered. It's crazy, and it's more accurate. It'll save about an hour's worth of staff time and your time at the end of the day in a busy practice. And yet, and it's not super expensive. We have one. It probably costs around $300 or $400 a month to lease the equipment, and it's done. And you really can't,
I'm sorry, go ahead. No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no, go ahead. Go, no.
You really can't do a lot of the dentistry today. Like you heard of invisible braces,
Mm-hmm.
Invisalign and stuff like that.
Yes. Mm.
You can't do that. You can with regular impressions, but it's so much harder. Without the scan, it'll slow you up 1,000%. You know, because you can scan the mouth and send it off. Same thing, and you get the invisible braces back in about a week.
Now I know this is going to be maybe like a curveball. I don't know how you feel about DSOs, but what are they doing about it? It would seem to me they'd be all over something like that.
You know something? A lot of them have this technology. A
Yeah.
lot of them do have this technology. They're still scrambling. You know, a lot of their offices don't even have digital X-rays. I mean, I can't tell you. The guy that used to fix my equipment, we're best friends. He sells what they call a PerioPro, which means that these dentists are using regular film X-rays today. I kid you not.
And so you know, the things that I'm hearing from you, I mean, not only are they cost effective,
right,
time mitigated,
right.
My goodness, people are living maybe 10 or 15 years longer because of them, because they don't have to take the anesthesia. They're not getting X-rayed. I don't understand. Well, maybe that's, I don't know.
You know, I have a theory. My theory is that because we're not teaching it in dental school, we've tried to get this equipment into the dental schools, but it's a political nightmare. You know, they not only want you to give them the equipment, you know, which could be like 50 grand for a laser, but they want you to pay them to have your laser. Yeah, it's like I said, it's a political nightmare. So the doctors are graduating, learning basically the same thing that I learned like 40 years ago.
Not good. Not good at all. No. I mean, I compare that to like getting information to actually do the business as a dentist. You know, you're not getting that either, right?
No, I mean, look at what we're doing now. I mean, look at the Chat GPT and all this other stuff. I mean, it's invaluable. And you know what the joke is? All the dentists have an iPhone, right? They all have an iPhone, and they love the Tesla. It's their best car that they want because it's technologically advanced. Okay, but
no connection there.
Yeah. But they're not bringing it in their office. It's
right.
mind-boggling to me. I talk to the dentist. I mean, they're spending more money, the average dentist, on impression material than it would cost to lease our equipment.
Don't understand it.
I
don't understand that.
It's mind-boggling. You know what it is? They graduate not knowing this technology or not being exposed to it.
Yes.
And then they work for somebody. Some of the DSOs do have this equipment. Some of them don't. So if they wind up in a place that doesn't have the equipment, you know, that's what they have to use. They have no choice. You know, they can't go out and buy it for themselves.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh boy, that's kind of
yeah. It baffles me. I don't know. I don't.
So I can see how, you know, you stay, you know, really, I mean, like you have your ear to the rail, so to speak, with new technologies and trends. Anything else that you can share with us on that end?
Well, yeah, I mean, we also have what we call a CBCT. This is, you know, when you walk in and they have a Panorex and it spins around your head and takes an X-ray. Well, this is that multiplied by 1,000. This thing is the most accurate X-ray that you've seen, and you can partner this X-ray with a laboratory, and the laboratory can make you a guide to place an implant,
Mhm.
where you can make a monkey place this implant because you put it on the teeth. It
Mhm.
tells you what drill to use,
Mhm.
what angle to use, and what size to use. I
Okay.
mean, it's the technology has come so far, but
Mhm.
again, we're not utilizing it. You know, I don't have an answer. I,
Understood.
I don't. We're trying to get the word out, but I'm going to do a whole video on the front desk of the office because that is stopping the progress of the dentist because they never get the information that I leave. Even if I send an email, I don't know that it's getting to the dentist. That's the other problem.
Wow. Wow. So you're giving you have this, you've been in the business of dentistry
Yes,
for
sir.
4 decades or so.
Yes.
And now that and looking back and then looking in, at what's going on now and what can happen in the future. So what does the future look like for dentists that are not keeping up with the technology?
Well, the future is phenomenal if they adhere to some of the principles. For example, if you mentioned a DSO, when they open a practice, they don't do the way we do. They don't buy a single practitioner. They open up what I call the Walmart or Target of dentistry. Yeah,
Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah,
you're a
yeah,
businessman. You got it.
yeah, yeah.
And so they have root canal specialists, implant specialists, oral surgeons, orthodontists, general dentists, hygienists. So you never have to leave that office. One of my pet peeves in dentistry is I go to a bunch of offices and they're still sending out the specialties. From an economic point of view, it's insane. They they attract the patient, they get them into the office, make them feel comfortable. They diagnose, they treatment plan, and then they send out $10,000, $100,000, $1 million worth of business over their lifetime. It's when like for me, I used to do my own root canals, but I didn't like doing implants because I didn't like surgery. I like aesthetic stuff. So I used to bring my periodontist in, and he would do the implants. Now in dentistry, the way it works is this: if I send you a root canal to your office, you can't give me any money at all because it's medicine and it's called fee splitting. So legally, if I send you a root canal, you can't send me back $100, for sending me the patient. But if I bring you in my office, we can split the fee.
And
I
this
know.
is in every state?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah. Every state. Yeah. But there are plenty of guys that'll come in your office and do the work. And, you can get around it. But these guys are just churning out all this sold dentistry and giving it to somebody else. It just that's one of the things that I try to get them to do. Even in a small office, you can bring in a specialist once a week. You could, most dentists work 4 days. You can make the other day a specialty day. I mean,
Hmm.
you're talking about $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 a day. Easy with the fees that they have today.
Hmm.
It's one of my pet peeves of consulting with dentists.
Hmm.
Uh, they just they're just losing revenue.
Hmm.
Over their lifetime,
Hmm. Hmm.
about millions of dollars,
Hmm.
millions.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, having you, I mean, even as from the mentor standpoint, aside from your consulting, your coaching, I mean, it's like, people, I don't, if they're not listening, they should be.
I'm going to tell you something that I do that I got from basketball actually.
Oh,
I read a guy named Tim Grover was Michael Jordan's coach,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
he was Kobe's coach also.
Yeah, right, right. I read that
And what
story.
do those
Yeah.
guys do? They watch hours and hours and hours of game tapes.
Mm-hmm.
So what I like to do years and years ago, when I first graduated, I worked for a guy that outproduced all of us put together. We were like four dentists working for him, and he would outproduce all of us. And one of the things that he did was, in those days, he had this big video camera, and he would videotape us doing a procedure. The purpose of that, which nobody does and nobody even thinks about, is they see how many times you get up and down. They see how many times you leave the operatory and come back. How much time are you wasting? You know, how do you work? What's the sequence? One of the things I like to work on with the doctors also is the sequence of events. Do
Mm-hmm.
you do a crown the same exact way? And how do you do it? And how could you cut 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here? You know, no, everybody looks at numbers. Numbers are great, but you got to produce the numbers. you know, and that really helped us. We would look at those videos and see how many times is your operatory equipped. Do you have to get in and out of it 100 times to do a root canal, to do a filling, to do, you know, is it all prepared? How do you set up your office? How does the flow go? You know, all those things make a big difference. If you could do one more crown a day, you're talking about a couple of $100,000 in production. I mean,
Mm.
it's not peanuts. And if a guy does $1 million, you're talking 20% of the production
Mm-hmm.
just by being more efficient. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying to rush. You know, right away, people go, "Oh, I don't want to rush," but I've seen the amount of time that some young dentists book for procedures, and I go, oh my God, what is this guy going to do for all that time? I, I maybe he's going to have coffee and cake with the patient, but but you don't. I'm sorry, I'm being sarcastic, but you know, nobody really goes over that stuff. They graduate and they kind of have carte blanche with their schedule, which is fine, but they're wasting time. They're wasting time and they're making less money. You know, that's the bottom line. That's what we're here for.
I love it. I love it. Time efficiency, man.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's doing that. You know, how many hours do you think Michael Jordan watched himself? You know, whether he jumped up on his right leg or his left leg, and I mean, and obviously it made a difference because both he and Kobe were obviously the best of the bunch.
Yeah, I love that book. I don't I must have read it a couple years ago, but it was a great piece about Michael's work ethic and this guy's work ethic. I mean, Grover's work ethic was
Oh,
phenomenal. I mean, like,
he's phenomenal.
yeah, 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 yeah.
He's unusual. You know, I mean, he went. You know the story. He went to Michael Jordan's house and he was wearing Adidas, I think,
Mhm, mhm.
instead of Michael's shoes. And Michael looks at him. He goes,
You're
"No
not
more."
coming to my house if you wear that again, right? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, he was real stickler about that, not
Oh
wearing
yeah.
that stuff, man. Air Jordan this or that,
Oh
you know.
yeah. Are you
Oh
kidding?
wow. Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
know
it
that
was.
he wore a brand new set of shoes every time he played?
That I did not know.
Every time he played, it was in the yeah, it was in one of his books, and he had to have it. He opened the box, and he had to lace it himself. He was very superstitious.
Oh yeah.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The
But
NC shorts under the
oh
bull
yeah,
shorts. Yeah, all of that
yes,
stuff,
sir.
right?
Yeah, well, obviously it worked for him.
Yeah, yeah, in retrospect, you can't argue with it. That's for
You
sure.
know, he was the best of the best of the best.
Yeah.
But what I try to do is really, I'm not a typical coach. You know, I look at everything that they do
Mhm.
because everything counts. You have to work on, my opinion. I work on myself. I
Mhm.
exercise. I eat right. I read.
Mhm.
You know, and that's what they need to do
Mhm.
to become long in this profession. because otherwise your back, your neck, your hands, over a period of time. And the other thing is most of my mentors have been business people. Like Tony Robbins is my favorite, one of my favorite. And my favorite saying with Tony Robbins, I went through his business courses, and he said, the chokehold on every business is the owner.
The chokeholder.
You like that?
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the case with me. I made so many mistakes. I could write 2 books. Not
me too.
So that's what I like to do is get to dentists when they first buy a practice or as they're buying a practice, to make them think about other things besides what they're thinking. You know what I'm saying? Look ahead. And most of us are, my opinion, we're thinking too small.
Yeah, with that said, I mean, what do you say to the student dentist, the young dentist that's just starting? I mean,
well,
could you expand on that?
I asked them, I would say to you, Ward, what do you want to be? Do you want to be a worker or do you want to be an entrepreneur? If you do like me and you bought a practice and you work it only, you're not an entrepreneur, because the practice doesn't go on with or without you.
Right. Yes. Understood. That's right.
And that's it.
Right.
So that's one of the questions. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to think that way. You have to pull yourself out of the practice, be able to replace yourself.
That's right.
The other thing I learned from Tony Robbins, and actually a lady named Cody Sanchez, she's on YouTube. I don't know if you've seen her. She owns like 24 businesses, and she doesn't run them, but she has, in some cases, virtual CEOs to run their practice, the businesses that she has. And that's the idea I want to bring into dentistry. Nobody does this. They put somebody in charge of the practice that knows dentistry, but they don't know business, and that's what I saw when I went to Tony Robbins. They have virtual CEOs, so that you could hire somebody for 1 day a week, 2 days a week, to run your practice, to handle the business end of your business. Instead of the dentist, I took on everything, and it was a mistake.
Yeah, that's a big undertaking, to try to do it all.
I mean, how could you work full-time in your practice, keep up with continuing education, deal with the staff, deal with payroll, deal with advertising, have a full-time family, and still be sane?
Yeah, it's quite a challenge. I mean, that's more of a challenge than anything, is trying to find that balance. And you, like you said, you can't do it by yourself. You got to have company.
Yeah, I mean, and all these guys, we talked about Tim Grover. I mean, Michael Jordan used to pay Tim Grover not to train anybody else. He didn't want him to go anywhere while he was climbing. He said, no, you can't train anybody else. So he paid him extra not to train anybody else. That's how valuable,
Coaching is.
Yeah. There's so much to our deal, but you have to start little by little. Like buying a scanner would cut down like an hour's worth of work every day, and give you better results, better crowns, better veneers. And one thing we all forget, the patient experience. A friend of mine finally bought a scanner, and he's in his 40s. He's a good dentist. And he calls me up and he goes, Doc, he goes, the patients love the scanner, like he was teaching me something. I said, Max, his name was Max. I said, Max, I had one before you graduated dental school. I said, I know about it, of course. We all forget the patient experience is what matters. Doesn't matter about you, doesn't matter about me, how fancy your office is. It matters the patient experience.
Mm-hmm.
What are they going to write on a review? Oh, I didn't swallow that yucky tasting stuff. The dentist put a wand in my mouth and I was done.
Oh, wow.
Everybody forgets. The dental profession forgets at the end of the day that the patient is the only thing that counts. Their experience, how they feel. If I had to remove 20 crowns in your mouth and drill them off, you would want to kill me at the end of it. It would take about 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
All kinds of Novocaine.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I would both be tired by the end of that session.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
I've
I
been
mean,
there.
I've had to do that. And we have a guy who bought our laser in Manhattan. They do about 100 veneers a week. These guys are big in Manhattan.
Mhm.
And you couldn't take the laser away from him.
There's no going back, right? There's no going back.
You go back.
Yeah.
Could you go back to a rotary phone when you have an iPhone? You know, I grew up with that stupid thing hanging off the wall.
Don't even think of it these
I
days,
love
right?
technology, but you know, my sister's a hygiene educator, and she works for DSOs.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many practices they buy that don't have digital x-rays? The majority of them.
Oh,
The majority of them don't have digital.
wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
So they're not really paying off. I mean, I don't understand. Why would they not be paying that much attention to their bottom line, knowing that if they did this would increase it?
Because they look at the price, not of the value of the instrument. Do you know if you are dealing with insurance and you are taking film x-rays, do you know what you have to do? You have to duplicate them in the dark room. You have to put them in an envelope, mail them to the insurance company, as opposed to pressing a button and attaching them to the insurance claim.
That's ridiculous time saved.
Thank you.
Dollars made.
This is what's happening in our
I don't
field.
understand that. That's kind of baffling to me.
I know. I don't know how to stop it. I mean, a couple of my colleagues have tried to get some of the equipment into the dental schools, but they don't have the budget and they don't want to pay and they don't want to teach. You know, it's a whole mess. So the dentists are graduating without playing with this equipment.
So what's the going rate? I mean, I know this is kind of like over to the side of the left or right or whatever you want to call it, but what would be the going rate of leasing something like that?
Okay, so like we have an excellent scanner. It's about $16,000, so it leases out about $300 or $400 a month.
Mm.
A container of impression material, which takes about 20 impressions, is about $400 a month. Plus, you have to buy the machine to run it. Plus, you have to buy the trays. Plus, you have to sterilize the impression, wrap it up, put it in a box, put the label on.
And laser intensive.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Dentists don't count that. You know what I'm saying? When I talk to them about that, they look at me. I mean, I have a super specialist 10 minutes from my practice, and he charges this much money, and he's still taking impressions. I've gone to him a couple of times. I'm going to go one more time, see if I can talk him into it. But, you know, the hardest thing for most people to do is change. I wasn't like that. I changed from one day to the next. If I got new technology, I threw out the old one and I used the new one. That's how I work. But it's very frustrating.
Yeah, yeah. I meant labor intensive. I think I might have said laser intensive.
No, you said it.
Yeah.
It is labor intensive. Now the doctor doesn't have to do it, but his assistant is gone.
Mm-hmm.
She's got to sterilize the impression. She's got to wrap it up. She's got to box it up, take the box, put
Mm-hmm.
the thing on, and stick it up front with all the other boxes so that the poor receptionist can't even see outside because there's boxes all over the place.
Oh, that is wow.
And here's the other thing. Doctors usually work Monday through Thursday. If
Mm-hmm.
it's Thursday afternoon and the guy doesn't come to pick it up, it doesn't get picked up till Monday or Tuesday.
Wow. So, you know, your personal insight and advice. I mean, like, what's one of the habits or routines that you believe that contributed significantly to your success?
The first habit is taking care of yourself. Is self care.
Yeah.
You must. I work out. I eat right. I exercise. I do HRT, hormone replacement therapy. I take vitamins. I've studied it all. I'm not just a casual bystander.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You asked me something about nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
I know the latest and greatest. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's I know as much about nutrition as I do, actually more than dentistry, because there's more things they keep. Just like dentistry, we keep learning new things.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, major importance there. And like you said, everything that goes uh, wrong or maybe positive with the body starts with the mouth, right? You know, what you eat and how you take care of those teeth. I mean, it's like, hey, it's just so major important to know.
Look, today people are very aware of smiles. I was in Florida, so I did a lot of cosmetic dentistry. I mean, Florida is big time for any kind. All my plastic surgeons, you know, did mostly boobs. that's that's what people wanted. But it's to me the most satisfaction I got was rebuilding somebody's smile.
Mm,
It really was. It's so I love aesthetics. I designed and decorated my office myself. My
mm.
mom used to work for an interior decorator, so I did all that. I did Botox, I did filler, I did PRP. I did all of that because it was cosmetic, and
Mm-hmm.
and it's something that I love. There's so many options today. You know, you have to take continuing education. A lot of them graduate and they don't really move forward.
Mm-hmm. So with that said, I mean, you like right, yeah, ahead of me here. Uh, the upcoming trends and or innovations in dentistry. Have you seen anything that excites you the most?
Yeah, this laser is the most exciting thing I've seen. I've actually sat there with a training during a training session. We took a 5-year-old little girl, never been to the dentist, cute as a button. We did a filling on her. She was hanging out in the chair like this, singing and happy. And we did the filling took 1 minute. I'm not kidding. To prep the filling took 1 minute. Took longer to put the composite inside the filling, inside the tooth. And she got up, she hugged the dentist.
Bye. Danced
She
off with a
Yeah,
lollipop.
yeah. She's 5 years old. What is her view of dentistry now?
Oh, she's a happy camper. She'll come
Right.
back, no problem. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. My sister, we have a friend, she runs a DSO,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a bunch of children's dentists.
Mm-hmm.
I presented the laser to them. In fact, one of them works literally right next door to where I live here in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
And we showed her the laser. We told her what it does and showed her videos of what it does. And she doesn't want it.
Mm.
So what do you say to that?
Yeah, she's just stuck in her ways. Some people
Yeah.
just cannot move like that. I mean, they don't want to see change. I mean, most people, I'm not saying all, because you definitely uh, don't
I,
have any
will
problem with
say,
change, but most people are. They have a problem with change.
You know, I don't know if you've ever gone to a children's dentist office.
Mm.
All you're going to hear is crying, crying and screaming.
No.
The kids are being injected all day
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
How it is to wrestle with a kid, to stick
No.
it in their face. I mean,
No.
it's horrible.
No.
And you know, the girl says to me, well, what's the ROI on the laser? Because the laser is 55,000 right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's about 1,300, 1,400 a month
Mm-hmm.
to lease.
Mm-hmm.
And so she says to me, what's the ROI? I said, well, let me ask you a question. If you don't have to numb up a patient, that would save at least 10 minutes per patient, right? So now you
Yeah.
have hours worth of time extra. How many
Yeah.
films can you do in that hour?
Right.
4, 5. So
Right.
that's extra $1,000 worth of production every day.
Yeah. What that
There's your
looks like
ROI.
over a month, over a
Yeah.
year. I mean, like, my God, the numbers become
Yeah, well, you know
astronomical.
better than me. You deal with
Yeah.
numbers all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So imagine grossing $1,000 more per day.
Mm.
You know, and again, we're forgetting the most important part. I bring my kid to you, and you don't numb her up, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't torture her, and you don't make her cry.
Mm-hmm.
How many people am I going to go out and talk to about your practice?
A
How many?
whole bunch.
Like
Yeah.
1,000?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that goes in front of me, I'm going to say, "Oh my God, I went to Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Ward's practice,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't numb up my daughter, and she didn't cry, and she loves going there, and she wants
Right.
to come back, and she
Yes.
hugged him, and
Right.
I mean, people forget, they talk about ROI. They have no idea what the hell they're talking about. How much is how much is that worth?
There's no price on it.
Thank you.
There's absolutely no price on it. We go back to the whole idea of human capital. I'm in life insurance, I'm gonna pay so much or this too much for it. I mean, what is your life worth? Your life is worth way more
Right.
than you could ever be paid.
When you're dealing with people's children,
Yes.
I could say to you, hey, Ward, listen, we're going to take little Johnny and we don't have to numb him up anymore.
Yeah.
Really? What do you mean? Because, well, because we have this laser. And, you know, and we're going to do a filling on him and he's going to be out in 5 minutes and he's going to be happy and he's going to want to come back to the dentist without you. Do you know how many mothers have to twist their kids or promise them a toy or do something, you know, whatever, to bring them to the dentist? Yeah, yeah. Go online and go on YouTube
Mm-hmm.
and look up a children's dentist, and you'll
Okay.
hear all you hear is crying
Yeah.
and screaming and
Yeah. I'm the biggest crybaby. I mean, out of all the specialists that I've worked with that had to go in there and do whatever work they had to do, I only had one that knew how to put that needle behind him. And when he come up with it, when he comes up with it and he hits you, you don't even feel it.
right.
That's just one out of I don't know how many over my lifetime. One that I remember, I can see his face right now.
Take the time and wiggle the cheek, and they're
Yeah.
to it. And
Yeah.
you have to not be in a hurry. You know?
Right, exactly.
You know,
He's chewing his bubble gum. And he sneaks that thing up on me, man, so quickly. And I don't feel nothing.
I mean, you know, with the DSOs, dentists have such opportunities today. You know, they can get out and go work for somebody and make a really good salary without an office, without overhead.
Mhm.
They could stay there forever if they want. Or,
Yeah.
you know, the problem with being in a DSO as a general dentist,
Mhm.
you really can't do any kind of specialist work because they have them.
That's not growth.
No, you're not going to grow. You're not going to
Mm-mm.
grow. Now, I'm not 100% in favor of every dentist learning how to do root canals and learning how to do implants. I have to tell you, I have a few friends in dental school here in Denver, and they're telling me that they're uh, scaring dentists into doing anything besides regular dentistry.
Oh no,
Yeah, they
no.
want the dentist to be in their little cubby hole of crown
Yeah.
bridges and dentures and fillings, and they don't want them. A root canal is not brain surgery. No
Hmm.
offense to anybody, especially the ones in the front. And doctors are they're not taking courses. They're not trying to learn how to do it. They just send it out, and people forget again what happens. You come up front and I say, Ward, you need a root canal. Here's Mrs. Dr. Jones's card. Call them and schedule a root canal with them. We'll send your x-rays over. And that's usually what they do. And so you have to go to a new dentist. Sometimes they make the appointment. I mean, when I teach them to actually make the appointment and put a follow-up in their books so I can check to see if you went to get it done. Otherwise, you lose the patient. Patient goes bye-bye. And in some cases, they never get it done, as opposed to bringing a specialist in your practice. Pardon me, the patients love that. They're comfortable. They know where the office is. They know the office staff. They see you there, which reassures them. Again, it's about the patient. What's best for the patient?
Absolutely. Totally. Wow. Just riveting information, just one good piece of information after the next, whether it's technology or wisdom, we're getting it all from you today, Vince. And I really appreciate, your knowledge and what you bring to the table to dentistry for both veterans and the young new dentist that wants to do well in the business. Practicing more than just one thing.
Yeah, two ends of the spectrum. I deal with a lot of dental brokers. In fact, I would love to have that position where I get to help a dentist sell his or her practice. The majority of dentists, and this is from all these dental brokers, the minute they put their practice up for sale, they take their foot off the gas and they stop producing. And the sale is based on the last 2 years of production.
And you're really messing up, right? You're really you're putting a cog, some type of hole in that wheel.
Yeah, I'd love to. When I haven't had that opportunity yet, but I'd love to have the opportunity of working with a dentist who's like 3 to 5 years away from selling, because you could really make a big difference. 20% of 1.5 million is a lot more money in your pocket.
Absolutely. No question. Yes. So what piece of advice would you share to our listeners who aspire to become a wealthy dentist? What do they, what is it that what would you suggest?
Go to work for someone for a couple of years, like 3 to 5 years, learn as much as you can, take a bunch of courses that you're interested in, improve your skills, work on yourself. And before you go and buy a practice, get a consultant. Doesn't have to be me, it could be anybody, but get somebody to help you evaluate the practice, the demographics. There's so much to look at before you open a practice. And everything looks good on the outside until you get into practice. But you really need to evaluate, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? Do you want to be the only one producing in the practice? Because that's what's still being done today. I think that model is very outdated.
Antiquated. I totally agree.
Yeah. As from a business point of view,
Yes.
why would you be the only dent? You know, we're here in Colorado. You go skiing for a weekend and you break your leg and you're done. Or you fall off a snowboard and you break your wrist and you're done. You know, and the practice is done. So it doesn't make sense. And like I said, do you want to be a worker or do you want to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Right.
that's the choice. That's the
Yes.
choice.
Yeah.
I was trying to be an entrepreneur, but I never followed through. I had all the opportunities, but I just never did. I did it part way, but again, I didn't work with anybody. I didn't have anybody helping me.
Yes.
You can't do it by yourself.
Correct. Correct. Because like whenever they're taking vacations, what's on their mind? How many dollars am I losing? You know, there's no butts in the seats.
This lady, Cody Sanchez, I love her. She worked for the big firms years ago, and now she's on her own. She has like 24 small businesses. She doesn't operate one of them. Not one of them. They're all being operated on by
I'm gonna look her up for
whether
sure.
it's a virtual CEO or a permanent CEO,
Yeah.
depending on the business. But she's not there running the day-to-day operations of the practice. Be able to go in, do your dentistry, and come.
Spend
And when
time
you
with your children. Yep. Yeah.
go on vacation, you know why I never went on vacation?
Mm.
Because at that time, if I took 2 weeks off, I lost 50 grand.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. So what are the young, I'd say, single operated dentists, what are they doing? If they're not doing some of the things that you just recommend throughout this conversation.
As long as you have like 4 or 5 chairs and you're a single practitioner, you could bring in a specialist. You could have a root canal day and you could do 5 root canals in a row. And at the same time, you could do what we call a build-up and a crown on the same patient. You're saving the patient like 2 visits to the dentist, and you're producing this much work in one visit. People love that. People love that, you know. And on top of that, you're probably producing 20 grand for the day, you know, as a production number.
So when you're consulting, you actually lay out, you know, what to look for, how to basically plan not only your practice, but down to the very idea of how you travel through your office within your practice.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we look at the way the doctor works. A lot of times we can shave legitimately, you know, time off of their procedures. A lot of times, if you're not consistent with your work, your assistant is going to hate you because she will never know
What's
what
next?
you're doing next. I love talking to you.
Oh my God.
They will
Yeah,
never know what the hell you're going to do next. My
yeah,
always knew when I did a root canal, this is what we did. When I did a crown, this is what we did. Always.
right,
Always.
right.
Not once in a while, not maybe. This is
Yes.
what we do. And you gotta set up the operatories, the rooms correctly. You have to have the right amount of instruments. You have to write it, you know. You know, and you have to. I was the worst. I didn't listen to anybody. I was very stubborn. I still am. So, you know,
At least you know, and you're honest.
I am very stubborn. But you know,
Yeah.
we all have this attitude where we know a lot about our subject, so we think we know every single
Everything there is to know, right?
we're
Yeah.
not open. We're not open to suggestions.
Yeah.
And,
We don't know what we don't know.
and here's the other thing, Ward. If somebody is not holding you accountable, just got a new procedure or you just brought a specialist in, if you're not accountable, you'll never follow up with it.
That's so true.
You're never gonna follow up with it. You know, there's so much stuff. I I want to film this. I haven't filmed this yet. I don't know if you've ever gone to Nordstrom.
Yeah.
Okay. If you buy something from Nordstrom, they do something that I'm trying to get my dental people to do. Instead of me handing you the credit card slip and the thing and the card, they get up, they go around and stand next to you. They hand you your package. They say, Ward, my name is Vinny. If you need anything, you call me. Here's all your stuff. It
Yeah.
takes 30 seconds.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Well, there's a book called The Nordstrom Way.
Oh,
Yeah, if you want to, if you know, we studied when I took veneers, we studied 5-star servers,
hmm
and that was part of it because they sell the most money per retail square footage of anybody.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know they had a book
yeah,
out.
yeah. It's called The Nordstrom Way.
Yes, I like it.
It's a paperback. You'll read it.
Yeah, I need to take a look at that. Thanks for that.
That's you're welcome. This is all in my head, and I try to, but they have to be open, you know, and to some of the girls are so busy, but to get up and stand next to the client, it is where it's like I said, it takes 10 freaking seconds.
A return visit is worth to multiple return visits, because they're not going to forget that.
No, no, they don't in Nordstrom. And like I said, they don't just shove your package over the counter.
All right, here it is. Get out. Next.
They go, yeah, get out of here. I'm done with you. All right, you pay
Right. Get on. Get out.
come around the corner.
Right.
I mean, it seems so simplistic.
Yeah.
But again, it's about who are you trying to cater to? Like I said, the moms, the dads, the guy and gals coming to your practice, turning over. Last thing, we didn't talk about the warranty program. I know
Okay.
we spoke about
Yeah,
it a little.
please do. Yeah, please.
Yeah. Out of all the things I've learned in my decades of doing dentistry, this company introduced what we call a warranty package for dentistry.
Mm-hmm.
The simplistic view
And
is
this is up and coming. This is here. This is revolutionary.
yeah, this is like 7 months old.
Yes.
They took it from the automobile industry and they brought it to dentistry. So long story short,
Mhm.
Ford included in my price is a 5-year written warranty on your crown. Anything happens to that crown over the next 5 years, you don't pay a dime. Now, in order to keep that warranty valid,
Mhm.
You need to come here every 6 months and have us check you. So what you're doing is patient feels more confident because they have a warranty. They have to come and see you every 6 months, 4 months, 3 months, whatever you deem necessary. And even if they move out of state, they have this warranty. They go to the new dentist. The dentist gets paid right then and there through the credit card machine, and they redo your crown if necessary. And the best part is where part of that money gets put into an investment fund. And they just did the numbers. I was just editing my videotape with the owner. Over 5 years, if you did 100 warranties a month, which is not unusual for a regular dental office, at the end of 10 years, you'd have like $1 million in this investment account. And this investment account is under the guise of insurance because you will actually have an insurance agency in your practice. You have to have a registered
Establish it. Yeah.
Yeah. And that money, when you do pull it out, is taxed at capital gains, which until now is low, but it may be higher if things don't change.
Okay. Okay, so is that insurance company that you have to create? Is it a captive insurance? What kind of insurance company did the dentist have to create?
It's a nationwide insurance company that that backs up the dental work. It
Mhm,
insures the dental work for full price
mhm.
for 5 years.
Nationwide. Oh,
Nationwide, yeah,
nationwide. Oh, okay.
yeah. It's new to dentistry, and of course, people are going to have trepidations about it. But
Hmm.
once you understand what it does,
Hmm.
and I've seen it in action, one of our founders of the company I work for, he's
Hmm.
using it in his practice. And imagine this warranty program in a young dentist over 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll retire with $4 or $5 million in that account, not
Hmm.
in their retirement account, not
Hmm.
in their 401k or
Hmm.
IRA or whatever else they have, their house and
Hmm.
other assets. Um,
I got one question to that too, Vince, if you don't mind. Now, if they wanted to, yeah, I don't know if you can give me this answer, but if they wanted to transfer those dollars into another life insurance piece, could they do that?
yeah, there'll be. I think there might be a tax. Once you pull it out, there will be a tax
They
consequence.
can't do like a 1035 exchange
I
then.
don't know that. I don't know that answer. That's
Yeah,
for the owner. I'll get you the owner's
yeah,
number. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a great question. Now, what you can do, you can take that money and borrow against it at
yeah,
zero
yeah.
and
Oh,
another.
zero interest.
Yeah, because you're borrowing from yourself. You could take that million and buy a house. You could take that million and buy a Ferrari if you want. You
Yeah.
could take that million and buy another dental practice
Mm.
and pay
Okay.
yourself back
Okay.
without any interest.
Yeah, I
So
know how that works.
yeah, I know you. this
Yeah.
is this is this big. I wish the guy who started this business said to me, Vinny, imagine if we had this when we first started. I
4
mean,
decades ago, right?
4 decades ago, I would have $5-10 million
Yeah.
in in that account
Yeah.
that I didn't
Yeah.
pay tax on because I didn't pull any money out yet,
Right. Right.
and it's still earning money.
And
It's
just imagine if you could do a 1035, you don't ever pay taxes on it.
that's a I didn't think you obviously you think a whole lot different than and better
Yeah.
than I do when it comes to money. So yeah, let's get that question answered
Yeah.
with the owner and
This has been great. New trends, wisdom, just, technology, all in one sitting. And we've been here almost with a little over an hour now, Vince.
oh, wow.
So let me just say, uh, thank you again for, spending so much time with us. I know you're busy. You have a very tight schedule. Can you, before you go, uh, uh, share your contact information to the listeners so they know how to get in touch with you? Although a lot of the credits and information will be included at the end of this conversation. But
Yeah,
if you can do that, that
I
would be
have
great.
a Colorado number, but I'm going to give you my Florida number. It's 561 602
Mhm.
2341.
Okay. Okay.
And my website is
Mhm.
HIGHROI
Mhm.
dentistry.com.
Oh, wow.
ROI dentistry.com. Yeah,
And
I mean, yeah, I'm available. I would talk to you at no charge just to try and help you. Um, I'm here to prevent dentists from making the mistakes that I made.
oh, wow. That is so, I mean, that is so giving. That's so, uh, I mean, I'm sure people would love to get some of your wisdom, some of the information that you have over the wonderful career that you've had over the years. And you're going to get, you can only get better for them if they, as you mentioned, you say you were just too stubborn. If they could just take those words of wisdom that you have and, you know, put it to work for them. The ROI is like could be astronomical.
I'm sure Michael Jordan gave Tim Grover a hard time once in a while,
Mhm.
but obviously what he did work. You need somebody on the outside to look at what you're doing.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Tiger, Tiger Woods has two coaches, not one.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I mean, and I'm sure Tom Brady had a few himself. You know, all of these great people that's doing great things had coach. I mean, Warren Buffett has a coach or had a coach. I mean, a few of them.
Yeah, and he didn't do too bad.
No, he didn't do too bad at all. Yes, thank you,
He's my hero.
again.
He's
Yeah,
my hero.
thank you. Yeah, yeah, mine's too. So thank you, sir, for joining us, and it's a wrap.
Thank you for having me. It's been an honor and a privilege, and I look forward to helping anyone in your audience.
Thank you, Vince.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you.